Is this update a nerf to Hammer Jam? Is that what we can complain about?
What are we calling this? Is this a podcast?
Red. It's Clash. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. This is Red Talks Clash, and we are coming to you live. Is a dumb way to say this, but we are here today. We got the man, the hardest working man in Clash of Clans, Clash.Ninja here to talk to us about the imminent March update, which is new. Most of us were expecting April, I believe, but here we are into March. So initial reaction, Sam, Liam, you guys have seen the sneak peeks for a couple hours now. Sam, what's your first impression of the update?
Good and underwhelming. I think the new troop looks a bit. I don't know when I'm ever going to use it, to be honest. But the new equipment looks cool. The new pet. The new pet. I don't know what I'm going to do with that either. It's such nothing's bad, but some of it's just I don't know what I'm going to do with half of these new things they're adding.
All right, Liam, are you also underwhelmed?
Underwhelmed is not the word I would use.
You're properly whelmed.
I'm properly whelmed, exactly, yes. No, the only thing I'm not looking forward to is the change to force quitting attacks.
More moaning, more complaining.
Everything else is fine and great. Love it.
That was the last episode moaning about that. We've moved on.
I know.
Ninja, how do you feel about it?
I mean, considering it was 6 weeks since the last update, I think this is quite a sizable one. And having new defense levels and stuff's pretty cool. New pet and new troop. Like the other guys have said, I don't think they're going to be ones we see everybody using out the gate, but I'm sure we're going to see some interesting strats using them once people have had a chance to get hands on.
I understand what Sam was saying with how it's maybe a little underwhelming, but I think Sam is also forgetting.
Well, maybe you guys can give some insights. Obviously, you've played it.
This is probably the biggest quality of life change that's ever come to Clash of Clans, and because we talked about it 2 weeks ago, maybe you're not lumping them together.
Sorry. To be fair, I'm kind of not. Yeah, sorry. I'm treating these this weekend sneak peeks as kind of separate to the train times. Train times, yeah, I'm overwhelmed. That's up there. The whelmed is satisfied for them. Don't worry.
I really think 2 weeks from now we're going to look back and be like, how the hell did we play this game before? It's going to be so nice to have armies instantly done, sieges, heroes never dying. Well, no, they'll die in battle, but they will never be dead, and we'll never have to wait for them to recover. And then you add on top of this a new pet, a new troop, new gear, levels, everything. I don't know. I think it's a banger.
I mean, the worst bit has been this month has been dragging because we've known that Christmas Day is around the corner. We know what we're going to get, but we've got to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it's been.
Yeah, I know. Like I mentioned before, but in our chats before, I think you nailed it. When you said I like a kid who opened my Christmas presents in November, or peaked. It's just waiting, and then it's gonna because instant training isn't coming immediately with this update. It's gonna be another couple days after. Those couple days are gonna feel the worst.
But think, just when they just switch it on, you see on Twitter or Reddit a little announcement that says, "Hey Chief, we've removed training times. Go wild!" Oh, that is gonna be fun.
We did cover all of our celebration in the podcast before, so we don't need to rehash too much of it. There's a couple random things that I do want to follow up on, and especially now that we have Ninja here too. We still don't know donation costs, which is I find that concerning that they haven't shown that even to creators yet. And the update's right around the corner, so I don't know. I can think of a lot of weird reasons, a lot of bad reasons why they haven't, why we don't know that. I can't think of any real great reasons to not let us know now. My thoughts are it's either insanely expensive and they don't want to get upset, which or they don't want us to get upset and start complaining about it, or maybe those things are still in flux. Again, it's coming down to the wire. Maybe they're still working on it. I don't know. It
might have just forgotten. You never know.
Yeah, or maybe there's busy and and this is just my own self-importance thinking I should be in the loop, but
they've probably got the change already, so they're just going ham all weekend. Hell yeah, I've got no training times, and we've got to keep training like psycho.
I don't know, donation costs, like Sam and Liam, what do you guys think is fair? Because we didn't really talk too much about this.
Yeah, I don't even know. I think something which doesn't actually, you don't really notice. The same way you don't notice the one, the 1,000 or 2,000 gold you
Yeah.
spend on, finding a new attack. Yeah, just like a little thing which you just don't actually really notice come out your coffers. Because if it's like a significant investment, you're gonna be disincentivized a bit from donating to people. But then I guess you can get loot so easily that now. But I don't know. Even if it's a bit expensive, it's probably not actually a massive problem at the end of the day.
If it were your choice, how would you like go about it?
I would say like 20,000 elixir for a troop. I mean, that sounds reasonable.
For what? Like for every troop, or
Yeah, more or less.
One archer,
Like, I
45
mean,
CC archers, or
for one archer, I'd say what? Like, I mean, just whatever the training cost was before, right?
oh yeah,
I mean, there's no need to complicate this. Just do the training cost before and be like, yeah.
that's kind of exactly where I landed too. That when I've been thinking about it the last couple of weeks is like we are already familiar, long-term players at least, are already familiar with certain troops having a certain cost, and so I was hoping that the benchmark that is used would be look at what the max level troops cost before. Assume a 50% refund from a level 10 clan, because that used to be a clan perk. If they're anywhere near that, I think I'll be okay with it. The problem with reintroducing costs is it's Legends League, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, also you're like the guy who's looking at his receipt from the supermarket 5 years ago, saying, "Why are my eggs costing more than they did 5 years ago?" I think anyone expecting us to go back in time and get a clone of costs from however long ago it was when training costs were removed, I think you're delusional. I think they are probably going to be higher.
Like, I don't have specific numbers in mind. I know no matter what that number is, I'm probably not going to like it because I'm a cynical pessimist sometimes. I want donations to be like, hey, like there should be a cost to it. That cost used to be time. And so converting it back to a resource cost is kind of fair. I don't know. I don't want... Man, I want the people who suck at donating to not suck at donating anymore. And if the cost is too high, that's still going to happen.
It's certainly a fine balance.
Yeah. Like, some of that's clan management issues. You're like, hey, like, you've always kind of had to worry about people who suck at donating and don't do it. And I was hoping this would be the end of it. And now that I've had time to let it sit, I don't know if it kind of depends on what those costs are. When they removed troop costs overall a couple years ago, 3 years ago, this is like 2022.
Really? God, you know what? I did not think it was that long. Yeah.
Part of the justification, not that they had to justify it, but like part of the reasoning they gave is like they don't want resource management to be a consideration when you're planning what type of attacks you do. They don't want it to be a limiting factor for what you do, and that was a huge success. And I just don't want that aspect reintroduced into the game. We have to wait and see. If it's too high, it can always come down. If it's too low, I honestly don't see the harm in it being too low. But Legends, though, is the point I wanted to get to 5 minutes ago. Punishing isn't the right word, but it's going to be less beneficial for people in Legends League 2 because everyone else can just do extra attacks. Even if donation costs are insane, you can just do a couple extra attacks. Instant train, who cares? It's not a big deal. But we are limited in Legends, and it's the higher town halls in Legends who often do have to shoulder the burden of donations for a lot of clans. But what I would love to see is an increase in Legends loot.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Did we see an increase at Tunnel 17? If we did, I think it was very
minor. I think it did go up a little. Anything else you want to touch on with instant training and donations before we go on to the rest of the update?
I think update time. I think training time's yesterday's news. We got new things now, new toys to play with. Do we want to start with the new pet, Sneezy? Got announced yesterday.
Sneezy Ninja. What do you think about Sneezy?
I think it's an interesting one. I kind of feel like you're probably only ever going to use it with the Minion Prince or the Grand Warden on air, due to it being an air pet. But I can certainly see a couple of roles, especially helping with tanking for those troops, where it could be useful. I don't think it'll be one you see in every person's loadout, but I think there will be certain use cases there.
In testing, were you guys coming across anything which was particularly strong with it?
Not that I can remember.
No, like, so it spawns two boogers. Okay.
Oh,
like,
I can't
also
get over that. It's
weird
such
name,
an awful name.
boogers. Okay, but aside from naming choices, yeah, like a pet, a spawning pet is a cool idea. Overall, just from the start, I'll say it feels kind of weak. So the boogers don't trigger air mines, which would have been their, like, that's where my mind first went, is like queen charges don't need cocoa loons anymore, because cool, but they
That'd be
do.
good.
You only get two boogers, and it's a little bit of tanking of air stuff in front of a queen charge, but they don't do much, and the boogers, they go off sideways all the time, so I don't know it's too useful on the queen. But yeah, like Ninja was saying, on the minion prints, it's okay. It's something. Like, the boogers are too slow, and they get behind dragons, and they're slower than loons, so they're not really going to tank any even red bombs for you. They're not going to do too much damage behind the most common air troops at Town Hall 17, because it's a Town Hall 17 only pet. Warden walks, it will work on warden walks, just because, like, there's not a great pet for that anyway now. Like, the unicorn, which is getting levels, is probably still better for warden walks than Sneezy. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a weird one, which it doesn't seem awful, but I can't see a scenario where I'd choose it over another pet, if you know what I mean.
Ninja, are you upgrading Sneezy or Unicorn 15 first?
I think I'll be doing the unicorn first, just because that's one of those staple pets you tend to use in every loadout.
I agree. Even though the levels of the unicorn aren't that impressive either, too. It's only one additional heal per level. Like most of the other, the first 10 unicorn levels, it's like 2 or 3 heal. I think it's 3 for the first couple levels, and then 2 each level. And now these 5 levels are 1 heal. What is it? Is it heal per second? Random healing, arbitrary heal units? I don't know what the measurement is.
Have a quick look.
I think it is per second. Yeah, heal per second.
Yeah, cause I think in game, I think it just shows heal.
Yeah, it does just show heal. I guess it's heal every beam, it kind of shoots into the heroes.
So while you're upgrading your unicorn, what pet will you be replacing the queen with, Ninja?
To be honest, I'll probably book it. So
Oh,
she won't get any break. She'll be straight back to work.
not the odds I was expecting, but works good enough.
It's nice to see the unicorn finally coming up to level 15. That is still a Town Hall 17 only upgrade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It requires Pet House level 11.
Town Hall 17 attacks, like, there's a lot of attacks that just don't use the unicorn anymore. So I think it's finally time they kind of held off, because the unicorn was one of those, like, always have no matter what kind of pets, and the overall meta has shifted to where now, like, I haven't used the unicorn in my attacks in probably a couple months. So it's nice they're finally adding it to give it a little bit of a boost and get it back in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still using the giant arrow and healer puppet with my queen, and it is nice using the unicorn in that situation, just because sometimes the 3 healers do struggle a bit, especially against the newer Town Hall 17 defenses.
Yeah.
I mean, is there much more to say about Sneezy then, or are we happy to move on?
You can clone the boogers. I don't know that
that's
really?
useful.
Yeah, I don't know that it's useful though.
I don't think that is useful.
Like
is my guess.
I saw I had a YouTube notification from a Sir Moose video on it. I haven't watched it yet. I saw a couple people talking about cloning them. I don't think it's a lot of spell space for a lot of, like, kind of weaker little boogers on the map. I don't think it's going to be useful, but I don't know. You never know.
To be fair, like, pro players and whatnot, somehow something which you thought was useless becomes a meta a few months later when someone figures out something silly to do with it. So I guess we can't write it off straight away, can we?
No.
But we also got new defense levels yesterday, or announced yesterday, which, I don't know if there's a ton to say about it, but it's good. Hopefully might help the balance a bit.
And the appearance of them, you've got to say, is next level.
Oh, they look cool. The Inferno Tower especially, it looks cool.
I just like that the theme matches now.
just like the overall Town Hall 17 aesthetic is probably like my favorite in the game. Like everything matches. It fits several different sceneries well. Like the artwork on 17 so far, they've nailed it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but defense levels too, like as a priority, what I'm thinking. So if you disagree, let me know. But Monolith, Infernos, I'm probably supercharging those too before I worry about builder huts.
See, this is what I don't. I'm not saying it's wrong to say, but it's what I don't like about how superchargers have become this permanent thing. Because I always assumed they'd just be like an end of town hall thing. So you kind of had something to do. Whereas now there's this weird thing where you kind of might prioritize a supercharger over an actual upgrades. And I don't know, that always just feels a bit weird.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was expecting the same as well.
But I mean, yeah, I can see why you'd see, because the superchargers are good. I mean, you get 10 more DPS, I think, right? On at least on the Inferno Tower, and you can supercharge the Monolith Tower, can't you?
And the multi-gear tower.
Yep.
Oh yeah, gotta forgot about that.
I don't. Not that I think the stats on the higher level builder halls are bad. I don't know. I'm just like what I need to do is go and look through the HP increases on the second supercharge level and see if that screws up any zaps or like fireball math. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong because I haven't checked everything. But if there is like that breakpoint, I think that puts it as a priority. Mono though, for sure, like you got to get that mono up and supercharged immediately.
And also got some troop levels. Did anything stick out to you guys in them? We got Yeti, Golem, Ice Golem, and Hog Rider, and Bat Spell. Forgot to say.
You are kind of skipping past the elephant in the room, which is the army camps.
Yeah. We'll get onto that. We will get onto that. This is an intentional skip. I think that deserves a bit more debate.
Yeah, these are good. I don't use golems in anything really. I do use ice golems.
I haven't used golems in ages.
The defensive stat of the ice golem for the new level, I don't believe increased. So
no, I think you're right.
Yeah. So
right, it's the same freeze as level 6.
Yeah, so defensively, like it's not a longer freeze, so you don't need to worry about it. On defense, I normally bring an ice golem in a lot of my armies. Offensively, it did go up, so that's nice. 3 DE upgrades, well more because the new troop furnace we'll talk about in a minute. And like the Yeti's nice. Like it improves Yeti blimps. It improves like Yeti clone is going to be back in the meta, I think, a little bit with the new level. Just Yetis overall are stronger. Yeti Golem spam. Trample posted a video of Yeti Golem spam. For the sneak peek, that looked pretty strong. It's a nice overall like buff to the Yeti. I don't think it makes Yetis OP, but it's probably going to be one that I book immediately, just because there's enough Yeti use overall. And Hog Riders, Hog Riders and specifically Super Hogs, I think are exciting.
Good HP buff, right, for the Super Hogs, I think.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly what, but I remember is who talking about it.
Like, there were already people using Super Hogs in normal mode, at least. I mean, like, pretty much everything we talk about is gonna be normal. Because I don't mess with hard mode.
Yeah.
Do you at all, Ninja?
No, I stick to standard mode.
All right, yeah. So yeah, we probably don't need to caveat that. But yeah, there's like Super Hogs look like if that's your thing, you can probably start doing it again with a decent amount of success.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a try because I did quite like the Super Hogs. God, I can't remember what town hall it was now, but a few town halls ago. So I might dabble again. And I find that the bats like is an extra bat changing anything, or is it just a nice to have?
That's like a busy work upgrade at best, right? It's like it's like a why not upgrade. I have to imagine.
Yeah, I think the previous level was the same as well.
When was the last time you really used or what town hall? I guess like do bats really fall off?
Like 13 when the scatters came in was when it really started to struggle. At 12 it was brilliant.
Yeah. Like
because we could do dragons and then bats. That was nice, but
like there was a time at Town Hall 14 was max where like drag bat was still was still a big part of it. If on certain bases, if you could manage your freezes well. But yeah, I don't.
And also for donuts like skelly donuts, you could also use bat spells, and I did that a bit a few years ago.
Dude, I would love if someone brings Skelly Donuts back into the meta. I don't see this level doing that, but
Oh, they're so like a really good executed one. They're just always so pleasing to watch. But yeah, they've fallen off now.
all right.
Should we get into the elephant then? Army camps, new levels, 20 more housing capacity. That's another route rider. That's another dragon. Why?
Make it more exciting.
Yeah, Ninja, how do you feel about going to 340 camp space at Town Hall 17?
So when I first saw it, I had a similar reaction to you guys, where I thought, I don't think this is necessary. So throughout the testing, I tried to stick to 320 troop space and see if the hit rates would stay similar as a sort of proof that it's unnecessary. And then once all the bugs and that have been ironed out, I was still struggling to triple as much with the extra 20 troop space. And I'm not a pro level player. I'd say I'm above average. I've got a reasonable hit rate. But that changed my mind on it at the time, where I thought, well, I went in it trying to justify it not coming in. And yeah, my hit rates went right down. And I struggled to retain them even with the extra 20. So I'm okay with it. I can understand why at the very top level, like the pros and that, are probably unhappy with that change. But I think for the majority of people, it'll probably be okay.
Why are they unhappy about it at the top? Is it because it makes it too easy then, or like more competitive?
Yeah, it's giving you more offensive strength rather than more defensive strength.
But isn't that a good thing to increase the kind of challenge?
Liam, you have
No?
not been paying attention to what people think of the meta, have you?
Well, I'm clearly not at the top, is basically what it is.
I mean, I think obviously hard mode is difficult. I mean, I don't know if you guys have really played it at all much. I haven't played it more than just a few friendly challenges, but it is really hard, in fairness. But generally, the game is, I mean, it's pretty easy right now, isn't it? And I guess there's the argument: do we need the extra 20 housing space? But I have the optimistic side of me has wondered whether, as we just keep upgrading our defenses, as we get more levels, whether it will balance out a little bit. But I guess we'll just have to see.
So, I'm one of the players who thinks that overall the Town Hall 17 hit rates, probably just hit rates on every Town Hall, are too high. So, like, the Champs 1 is always the metric that I go to and a lot of other people go to, because it's the stat that's available that is probably most representative of more skilled players, what they're capable of, 17 versus 17 hit rate on a large scale, because there's tens of thousands of people in Champs 1 overall, and they're nearly all max Town Hall 17s. It's not a perfect stat, but it's the best we'd probably have. So Town Hall 16 came in, and hit rates in Champs immediately jumped up over 50%, and they kind of like just kept climbing. We've seen them go as high as 75-ish. In February, the Champs 1 triple rate was 75% of attacks were triples. That dropped to 70% in March. And I don't know, so I was hoping that we would get these defensive levels, and that would bring that back down to something that was a little more overall challenging, because it is disappointing. Like, hey, it's fun. Like, my hit rate's like 80%. It's just, like, there's a lot of people better than me, but I know that's not terrible too. And it's fun to triple a lot, but it's also not fun just like always being tripled too.
And also in things like wars, it's not fun just always drawing wars, is it?
I'm ready to sacrifice my own hit rate and lose, 20% of my triples to a harder game, but also gain that chance to defend, have wars that aren't decided by just dumb luck and matching a terrible clan, or if you match a good clan, it's a draw, which it's not fun. The camp space, I don't think was necessary, but if the goal was to keep the triple rate about where it was, I think the camps are going to accomplish that. It might fall a little bit. All my testing, like I use a root rider army, so it's just an extra root rider to me, or an extra drag to most people. So I don't know, it felt similar. It didn't really feel like it was that big of a difference. So if that was the goal, I think camps kind of accomplished keeping it roughly the same without being too punishing. I would have rather waited on camps, like see where the hit rate is, see how the game feels, and if they wanted to bring it back up, they could have done that in the next update or 2 updates from now. Hey, I'll take it. I'll keep my higher hit rate where it is. I'm enjoying the game for what it is now. So I know I just did a big complaining rant, but yeah, I'll take it.
Is that everything from day one then? Have we
There's
finished
achievements.
yesterday?
Achievements.
Oh,
So
yes.
4 new achievements for mostly for all the merge stuff and fire spitters. So they add they just here's some gems for Town Hall 15 and above. Looks like. Why does it say Town Hall 15? Like I'm just looking like it says new achievements have been added for destroying the building types. Added with Town Hall 15, multi-archer tower, ricochet, fire spitter, and multi-gear. And those are not Town Hall 15, right? Those are 16 and up.
Right.
I don't. We don't need to go too off the rails about like what's probably just a typo.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
Ninja, what are like overall? How many gems is it for all 4? Do you know?
1,225, I think.
Cool. Because it's like still 3 levels of each achievement, like always. It's like 25, 50, and 75-ish, and then like 200, right? So
yeah,
about 300 gems per achievement, for a total of 1,200 something, which I think is fair. Hey, that's a level of one of the helpers.
Yeah, the level 3, you're not going to be doing overnight, popping in 4,000, 4,000 ricochet cannons and multi-archers, but if you factor in the chance, your attack number of attacks you do per day will probably increase with the upcoming change. Maybe it's not quite as bad as you initially think.
There's nothing I'm going to worry about grinding out. Like, we'll get it eventually. There'll be some nice gems down the line. Gems that I don't need to 1 gem donate anymore, which is awesome. Or at least as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything like this is always a net positive. Not really anything to get worked up about.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not realistic that... I know some people are saying it's not a whole lot of gems, but like... hey, they added 1,000 gems into it. It's a level, one of the higher levels of a helper for free. Yeah, I'll take it, for sure. I'm not going to complain that it's not a 3,000 gem reach, whatever league kind of achievement.
Yeah.
All right, Sneak Peek 2. We get a new Dark Barrack troop starting at Town Hall 15. The Furnace, a whole new type of troop, one that it doesn't move. Off and on, I've seen people want a spawner building troop. I've always pictured it as a defense, but it is interesting to see. Like, what are you guys' first reactions to the Furnace?
I don't know when I'm going to use it. I'll be so honest. I can see with the Sneezy, like you can maybe chuck it in somewhere, but yeah, it's a lot of housing space. It's 18 housing space for what is essentially a funneling troop, I guess.
First time I saw it, I was like, it's going to be like the new siege barracks, or not the siege barracks, the new, what are they called? I forgot the name, but it's basically no one's going to use it essentially, because it's too uncontrollable, I feel like.
I'd use it sort of 3 or 4 behind some Yetis or something. So the Yetis or whatever you're using was doing the role of tanking, and then it meant that your fire spirits or whatever they're called, fire mites, made it to where they were going to and actually got some value. And it wasn't a strategy that I thought, oh, this is super OP, this will be absolutely crushing. But it was decent. Like, it's something I think if you took the time to refine the strategy, it'd be all right.
Yeah, that's kind of where I landed with it too. It's not anything I'm super excited about. I like my first instinct was I've been wanting to use the troop launcher more, but it's hard to get away from the siege barracks and everything the siege barrack brings because I can't get my queen to do anything alone. So I was thinking now I can back up the queen with a furnace or 2, and it will function similarly enough to a siege barracks that now my queen's not going to immediately die. She can funnel on one side just like normal, and that frees up my siege machine to be a troop launcher or really anything else. And that kind of works. It's not... I think the siege barracks are better, especially because, like the timing of when they add CC troops. But I know it gives me hope that there is like someone's going to find a better use for it too. The other thing I saw tried that kind of gives me hope too is like I really loved heroes and druids last year, before the big druid nerf, and it felt like it could be that too, where you're adding one of these troops, kind of just, you're still relying on your heroes to do everything, but you're adding like a furnace every 15, 20, 30 seconds, and just to continually add troops and damage behind heroes as support. And you can do that with dragons, you can do that with super witches, a whole number of attacks, and it also kind of works. Yeah, nothing super exciting that I was able to come up with, nothing that I've seen. I'm kind of hoping people figure it out in the coming days too. And is that a bad thing for a new troop to be? Is just like, hey, this kind of, like, you can use it if you want.
No, I think it's good. It encourages people to like try it out and test it. But it's also good. It's not too overpowered, or doesn't seem like it, at least at first.
Yeah, because we've had a few new things come along where they've been stronger than probably intended out the gate, and then you end up with like perfect wars and just getting crushed, and everyone's using the same strategy. I'd almost rather things came out slightly weaker than they should be and then get buffed than the other way around. So I'm fine with what we're seeing at the minute.
Yeah, just from like, a PR standpoint too, it's always going to probably be, it's always going to look better to release weak stuff and then buff it, instead of releasing things that are OP and entice players to, spend their magic items and spend money and invest time and resources into it, just to have to walk it back later. And that tends to be more of what we've seen. Like, maybe it needs a buff long term, maybe it just needs people out there brute forcing different attacks until we find something that works. Overall, though, just the Sneezy in the furnace in this update, like we've just said, it's, they're a little underwhelming. We don't see them really changing anything too much. But I also just said the game's kind of too easy. So maybe it's fine that we have these things that aren't OP, but will still work. And now I have an opportunity to try new things. Like, I could try minion prince charges. So we'll talk about his new equipment here next. The game is balanced in a way to where, I think starting to get more flexible is going to be my path forward to enjoying things more, instead of just relying on like, hey, I triple all the time and it's fun. But that's starting to get old.
On the bright side, the furnace does look really cool. Like, there's that to be said for it.
I really like the little fire spirits.
Firelights, yeah, they are cool.
They're awesome. That's one of the main reasons I use forgetting names. The lava launcher, whatever it's called. No, sorry.
The flame flinger.
Flame finger. Thank you.
Yeah, we also got new equipment. The noble iron for the minion prince. This is the only new thing which I think, yeah, I could see myself using that.
Really?
Yeah.
I just brought up minion prince charges, and it looks interesting and kind of useful for that. That's an attack I don't really see myself doing.
Yeah. See, I saw that and thought, oh, that looks kind of cool.
For the people who want to start exploring those kind of attacks, like, I think this is your path to do that. Get the new common, upgrade it, start playing with it, see what happens. 7 long shots from the noble iron. I don't know. Like, it's not great to me. If I'm going to use a hero like that, I'm going to use the epic ability in the RC more to get more value. I don't know. It's just another thing that's like, yeah, like maybe I'll try it out. I'm not super excited about it. I hope people in my clan enjoy it. Like, Ninja, were you able to find any fun uses of it?
I was trying it out with the Angry Jelly, so that you've basically got him taking out, a corner of defences if you're trying to funnel defence targeting troops or something. And it was all right, because obviously the Minion Prince does do quite a lot of damage. But that was one of the things I thought, it kind of works. It wasn't something I thought, oh, this is 200 IQ level strategy. But I'm not going to claim to be a master strategist for CSE either. So I like the idea of having tools in the toolbox, even if I don't use them, because occasionally you'll be watching either a creative attack or a pro attack, and they pull something out of their back pocket, and you think, wow, yeah, that was cool, that was fun to watch, that was different.
I think if you're going to use it, it kind of feels like you have to do it with the Angry Jelly just to make sure that those long shots are not completely going to waste on, elixir collectors or storages, because you do get a real decent damage boost on those first 7 shots. So with the jelly, you're for sure getting that value out of them, but it's only 7 shots though. So it's a small little funnel. You're going to have to recall your minion prints or let them die. But I thought it would be a fun active ability to be able to trigger that when you wanted. But even then, I don't know that it makes it super exciting.
I think it's kind of good that it's passive, because that means that if you were to recall the minion prints and then use them later in the attack, you've still got that second option there without having to use both at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, so you can still recall and then have like the Dark Orb later when you need it, which is good. But you do kind of have to recall him to get anything out of him. But I mean, there's lots of hero stuff that like basically requires a recall to work anyway. But so what do they call it? The hero boost that comes along with it, like the perk for the hero, is additional attack speed. I think at max it's 17%.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, the minion prince doesn't attack slow anyway, but it is noticeable how fast he's getting off shots still.
Yeah. I think, everything seems to be, that's interesting. Maybe we can find a use for that, but nothing's coming in to change up the meta, which, as you said, probably isn't an awful thing. I mean, we don't always need something to break the game every single update.
Well, in fact, we don't want that.
So yeah, it unlocks at Town Hall 12. I didn't test it at anything but 17. There was a lot in this update, and I didn't have time to test stuff on lower town halls. So did you by chance, Ninja? I know you're a big like 13 Town Hall 13 guy.
Yeah, I think I tried it out at 13. There was a couple of rounds of balancing, and I can't remember at which point I tried it. But it was a similar deal where I thought, yeah, this could be okay, but it's not blowing me away.
It has utility, but not enough to justify replacing something else that I'm already used to using.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summary.
So I think that's all the new content, isn't it?
There's a lot of like smaller things that I think we should hammer on before we move to questions real quick. Cost and time reductions. Ninja, you're the man for that. You want to just take us through the highlights real quick?
Yeah, let me find my sheet.
There's an aspect of this that me and Sam and Liam are gonna love. I know.
I'm already bouncing.
I already hate it.
Hate it?
Well, whenever Rick says that, it's sarcastic.
No. This is good because
No,
this is something.
You genuinely like this.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
never mind.
I didn't know what we want about. You'll be a fan.
Yeah. This something that we, as you Brits would say, whinged about on the last podcast is people misunderstanding.
Is whinge not an American word?
Whinge? No one says whinge here unless we're making fun of Brits.
Fair enough.
So, but we were complaining that the way they reduced costs for when buildings have multiple levels within a single town hall, man, I still haven't figured out a brief way to say that. But like people posted it as a bug constantly, dozens of times a day for the last month.
Still do, right?
Yeah, all the time.
I removed 2 this morning before this podcast. So
yeah, and I've been getting constant support tickets where people tell me I've made a mistake, and it's like, well, have you checked in game? No, it just looks wrong. It's like, it might look wrong, but it's right. I can't just. If it was me, I wouldn't have done it that way. But I'm just replicating what's in game.
The costs of those things have been restructured, like through the whole game. It probably took a lot of work, but now everything is back to being linear. So you'll never have an upgrade that is cheaper or shorter than the previous one, right?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, there was a lot in this one. I think there was over 700 levels changed, which when you think there's 2,600 levels in total, like that's a massive proportion. And it even went all the way down to sort of like Town Hall 2 and 3 at points. So it's very far reaching.
That's awesome.
Overall, some pretty decent cost and time reductions.
When you're looking at double digits, like 20-30% at almost every Town Hall level, which is considerable. And the real one is we've got 5 levels of walls that have had reductions where normally we'd see 1 or 2. So going down from Town Hall 12 to 16, getting wall reductions will probably make a lot of people happy.
20% at Town Hall 15, all the way up to 33% reduction at Town Hall 13. Walls just got way easier. Like, and that's a double whammy for Walls too, because Walls also just got way easier from instant training. So maybe you don't need to wait for Hammer Jam anymore to deal with Walls. Is this update a nerf to Hammer Jam? Is that what we can complain about?
Well, I guess Town Hall 17's been untouched, so people who are reaching the end game but haven't quite got there will get a big win from Hammer Jam still. But I think the stealth change that really stood out to me, well, not really stealth, but the one that stood out to me was the cost of pets getting a real reduction. So, like in the end of last year, we saw all Dark Elixir upgrades in the labs get halved in price because of the minion prints coming in, and this time we're seeing, well, like Town Hall 14 sees like 33% gone off the pet costs, which when you're thinking you've got 5 heroes to upgrade, your dark troops, having that pet bill reduced that's going to be a real helper for people trying to sort of catch up.
And how generous was Supercell with hero cost and time reductions? Shall we look?
It's like the setup.
Yeah, so basically it was minimal. The only one that got changed was the RC, and the RC saw there was no change to times, but the cost of the Dark Elixir on the RC got adjusted. And I don't know if you guys have done a Town Hall 13 sort of upgrade recently. Having those 25 levels, whatever it is, still fairly brutal. And this at least helps try to bring that back in line, because the RC is such a great hero. You do want to get her upgraded.
Yeah, and you want to actually use her, not spend the whole Town Hall 13 just having her sat sleeping.
Like, overall, it's still real decent reductions, specifically to DE, I think, because, like, all the pet ones are huge. A little bit overall for Town Hall 13, but this update's a real DE heavy update.
Yeah, and we used to get one of these reductions a year, maybe 2 in a Town Hall cycle that was 18 months. We've had 1 in November, 1 in February, 1 in March. Like, we're not even halfway through the lifespan of Town Hall 17, and we've had 3 rounds of reductions. So, they are really trying to help the lower level players, give them a leg up to try and get to the end game content. So I think it can just be seen as really trying to help out those people who aren't at the end game.
I like that.
Like, that's another good point too, is like, we are 4 months into Town Hall 17, right? Like, in Town Hall 17, we get some walls, there's some token structures that haven't gotten levels yet, collectors, sweepers, which who knows if that's ever going to get a level, but Town Hall 17 is done now, essentially. Like, so I'm really curious what we're going to do for the rest of the year. Like,
Clan capsule, build a base.
Well, that's kind of how it was before too, but like, looking back, Town Hall 16 also kind of reached mostly the done point in April, so it's not too different. We had there were new troops. The Druid came in June. Epic equipment was still fairly new. I'm just curious what we're going to do until Town Hall 18 now.
I'm sure they'll think of something.
Let me just round out. Is there anything we're missing from Sneak Peek 2 that we haven't really hit on yet?
Balance changes we haven't looked at, which are minimal, but I know you want to complain about the big boys.
Yeah, big boys, the housing space. This is, I think, it's probably the only significant balance change in here, right? Would you agree? Like, it's well, all the balance changes are housing space related. Even skeleton air traps had a housing space change. Absolutely no clue why. Like, a lot of people are asking why. Like,
that at all?
Yeah, absolutely no clue. Like, it's been asked. We didn't get a great answer, so who knows? The only one of these that I really see as being impactful is the big boy. The giant skeleton from Super Witches has been reduced from 20 to 10, which now makes them springable. So, are any of you guys Super Witch users?
No, but I have a clanmate of mine who is, so we'll see if his attack changes because of that.
What about you, Ninja?
No, Super Witches aren't my bag.
Man, I was so hoping to get back into Super Witches too. Like what I was talking about earlier with, I want to use the troop launcher with Super Witches. I think that really helps a lot. But where I struggled in making that happen was the funnel and losing the siege barracks. And so now, I don't know. Like, Super Witches already were kind of falling out of favor. They weren't the strongest attack. You can definitely make them work at Town Hall 17. I think this, I don't know. I don't know that it kills it. It definitely hurts it a lot. So I don't think we'll see a whole lot of super witches at Town Hall 17 anymore. I did test it. I played with witches at 14 and 12, and so I did go into the dev build and play at I use my super witch attacks, and at the lower town halls, I think it's still fine, just because super witches were so OP at those levels. I don't know that the change to the springs really, really matters down there, but also like super witches aren't popular at those levels already. I don't think this one was really needed. Like hopefully it came for a good reason.
Indeed. Well, I think have we done the update? Were there any other important changes you guys kind of noticed?
There's one fix that people will like, which is the builder apprentice should remain assigned to an upgrade.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can literally lay off half the moderators now, because like the number of posts on Reddit is going to halve overnight. So like,
That was literally my job. It's just apprentice bug and time upgrade bug.
Yeah, it's a time upgrade bug getting fixed. I don't remember reading that.
Yes,
but
it is.
yes. Okay,
Is it?
great.
No,
Oh
hold
my
on.
God.
Well,
Wait.
is it? Because was it in there? No. Like
I mean the
Wait, what are you talking about, Sam?
bug where it said like, oh, you saved like 1,000,000 years when you just
Oh
haven't.
no, I wasn't talking about that. My bad. Sorry,
Oh, you
misunderstanding.
got my hopes saved. They're really so high.
That was the...
like I hope it is. I know like in the creator chats we'd asked like about some specific stuff, and it looks like some stuff may have been left out of the patch notes that's getting fixed in there. I don't know. So
Okay.
it's hard to talk to what is getting fixed and what isn't, what might have been forgotten or what might still be bugged. I'm pessimistic that this update, it's a massive change to the training system and all the new donation stuff that needs to happen. Huge changes.
Yeah, something's going wrong, isn't it?
They've never had buggy updates before. What are you talking about, Vic? Why would this time be any different?
Just be ready for random unrelated stuff to break, and then just hope and trust that they're going to be on top of it. And it might be a rough week, And I'm not saying that knowing something's coming. I'm just, from past experience, just, hey.
that Rick has just cursed it for us all. It was going to be a perfect update. And
It was going to be great, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but to be fair, actually, I feel like in this update, especially, there's a lot of bug fixes. Like, they're really on top of like solving the problems.
Right. So, first of all, something else, like I totally forgot to mention right at the start too. Yeah, I'm gonna give away. I have one each of the Lunar New Year snake skins. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna post a link in chat. I'll post it a few times too, and then I'm gonna put it in the show notes of the podcast episode. It'll just be a Reddit post. Just leave a comment. I'm just gonna do a random drawing, and then in order, I will reach out to you guys through Reddit. So check your Reddit account because these are gonna expire soon. But in a couple days after I publish it, I'm going to do a random drawing from the comments of that post. So just go leave a comment. You don't need to type anything crazy. Type some gibberish, do whatever. If you want to leave feedback for the podcast, that would be appreciated more than gibberish, just so we can do a better job. But here in chat and then in the show notes of the podcast, if you're listening to recorded later, just go leave a comment on that post, and you have a chance to win one of the Lunar New Year snake skins. Now, questions.
Woohoo!
Let's do that, and then we'll close it out.
Yeah, well, I can see a lot already. I mean, there's the obvious ones. How's Liam today? Liam, are you good today?
Well, that was more because the bot wasn't working at first, so I had to run it locally.
Oh, was it not? Oh.
It was broken at
thank
first,
you
but
for fixing it.
I thankfully fixed it, yeah.
Make walls more expensive. God, people are never happy. Is a new pet better than the Electro Owl on, say, the Warden? For Hydra, I guess Clash.Ninja, you'd be the best to answer this, as you've actually played with it. Do you think it's any better?
I mean,
No.
The Electro Hour is quite good for clearing out air skellies and stuff at times, isn't it, when you've got them on? But I think we'll have to see.
No is my answer. No.
No. I think, a lot of these questions that I'm reading are questions which you've actually answered since they were asked, so that is quite easy. Is there an official date of the update? No, but it's probably tomorrow. I mean, they never like to. Yeah, they never like to say, because if they say when an update is and something goes wrong, you have a bunch of people nipping at their heels, crying about where it is. But the best guess will be tomorrow.
Yeah, like they never, except for like the one time they did, but they almost never say like, hey, the update's going to be on this date. Historically, if you want to look back, Mondays following sneak peeks are the update days. Sometimes there's delays, but like I think it's a safe assumption to assume the goal is almost always going to be a Monday. So.
And I think there was a tweet a couple of days back saying next week, so it's at least narrowed the week down.
Yeah, like there's never been sneak peeks, and then like a whole week passes without any news, and then an update, right? Like,
yeah, that would just be weird.
All right, moving on.
Let's have a look. Is there going to be a limit of attacks when no troop waiting time comes? No, except for in Legends for now. Still going to have to only get 8 attacks in Legends, but apparently that will change at some point in the future. How exactly? We don't know yet, but eventually there'll be no limits. But for now, there is in Legends. Everyone else, do what you want, knock yourself out.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any specific like of how it would change. I mean, there's ideas out there which I think are pretty good, but I don't think anything's like been locked in as like this is what's happening. We just need to work on it, sort of thing.
Is this whole update just April Fools? Well, you're gonna have to wait and find out, aren't you?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Otherwise, dude, like I swear, I answered every single comment on that Reddit post about the update, and like about like 75% of them are just like, "Oh, is this April Fool's update? Like, is it a
There's still
joke?"
been posts today about that. It's like, well, for a start, the announcement came like at the start of March, and the whole thing of an April Fool is it has to be in April.
So many people, I'd be like, do you want to bet money on this? Because I'm basing all of this on Vic's
Yes.
guarantee that it's
Yeah.
not a joke. So
Yeah, like
it better
I
not
am.
be.
Yeah, I am guaranteeing that it's not a joke. It's not April
And
Fool's Day.
I'm willing to bet money on that. So we're good.
Why do I love Ninja's voice? Well, that's a question we all ask
'Cause he's
ourselves
awesome.
as well.
Everyone loves a British accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, except Sam's, but yeah.
Okay, so I found the tweet. What do you mean by extending unlimited attacks to Legends League? Quote, the idea is that in the future, Legends League players would be able to do loot attacks after the daily battles are done. So, yeah. We'll be able to just spam, quit, farm, same as everyone else without affecting our trophies in the future in Legends. Probably. Yeah. That was just like the idea is. It could change, but yeah, there we go. All right. Next question. Where are we at?
Oh, this is a good one, and one something which I completely forgot about. Thoughts on lower town halls being added to Clash Worlds tournaments? Yeah, that got announced a few days ago, and
Oh, yeah.
I think I already forgot, kind of. But yeah, no, that's cool. I think it's Town Hall 9, Town Hall 12, and Town Hall 15. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's fun. Gives lower town halls a bit of proper competitive action. Yeah, no, that's cool. I think probably went overlooked by almost everyone, but yeah, Clash Worlds is getting lower town hall tournaments in some form, though they really didn't specify what form.
Yeah, like I don't think it's gonna be like having Town Hall 9s up on the world stage at the same time.
Yeah,
that wasn't ruled out, but no, I think it's just like I assume using the existing tournament infrastructure, and just opening that up to have all Town Hall 9s and all Town Hall 12s, etc.
Indeed. Let me have a look. Will that let us sell our training potions after the updates? Am I right in saying that they'll just get converted to gems if you don't sell them?
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
they just convert automatically.
Yeah. Day 123 of Asking Ninja about any update on Supercell store about adding UPI payment method in India. Is this something you're particularly knowledgeable in?
I've had a number of people ask about it because I know that UPI is a big thing in India. I've passed that on to the appropriate people more than once. I imagine. Well, I've done a bit of international payment processing, and I know, especially when you go to certain countries, there's a load of red tape you have to jump through to handle certain things. So maybe that's a part of why it's taking some time. But I have put that forward to the guys at Supercell, and they are looking into it. So hopefully that is something that gets sorted out at some point.
Wonderful.
Rick, I've got a question for you. Do you know that the monolith survives fireball and one earthquake?
The new mono or the current mono? Because I know I was talking about breakpoints earlier.
The new one, I think. Yeah, I think it's related to that. I'm not sure.
I know. I don't really think it's a huge deal because if you're fireballing a Tunnel 17, you kind of have to bring two, at least in Legends, just because like there are other structures that are often near that are going to require two anyway. So like that's not a breakpoint I've particularly ever paid attention to. I just have learned like, hey, like I need to bring two quakes with my fireball.
Fair enough.
Carl wants to know, hey Ninja, when update?
March, I think.
Ah, brilliant. What else? Why is from Magic Junior? Why is removing spam quitting the best thing that's ever happened in the game? I agree. What a great change.
They haven't removed it. You can still spam quit. It's just you got a little
But
bit.
they've heavily disincentivized it.
Yeah, you have a 1 to 3 minute cooldown between it.
Yeah, you kids love TikTok. Go and watch a few TikToks, rot your brain a bit, and then you get back into the next attack.
And the cool thing though is that it'll tell you how long you have to wait too. It'll like in game the little message says attacking disabled. You can attack
That's
again
cute.
in 1 minute 22 seconds or whatever it's going to be. So like it's not like you're not going to be sitting there wondering when you can attack again.
Not twiddling the thumbs.
It's inconvenient for capital in builder base. Sure, I get that. You can now do at least 20 home village full attacks, at least 20 an hour this way. You can do more if you're just doing like if you still want to do sneaky gobs like on a on a training boost, which you won't have to do a training boost. Which like sneaky like people have been talking about sneaky gobs dying. I think they're still going to be fantastic too because you're actively playing. You're not going to have to force quit to do sneaky gobs just as efficiently, and you're going to surrender. There's no cooldown in that situation. Only if you quit the game and let the attack play out in the background is there a problem. So, I don't know. An awesome update. Definitely worth it. I'm sorry that Liam and his 200 clan capital attacks are going to take him an extra 4 hours every week. But...
Well, I
Hey.
won't be doing them, is what it is. So, yeah.
See, I think that's a net positive to your life now because you're gonna have
Yeah.
all this time. You're gonna have more
free
time.
time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a good thing, but
This
I
is
wish
a good life update.
I wish I could have came to that conclusion myself instead of that being forced upon me, but hey, it is what it is.
Like when I left that Gelgamex line at like the top of the last episode, and I wonder if anyone actually got that, like gets that reference or not.
What reference?
Remember I explained that South Park episode to you guys?
I watched the episode after the.
It's a classic South Park episode, that is.
I don't know, like maybe we just forget about the Gelgamexer right now. Anyway,
Yeah. Ninja, can we get a new total time estimate for Town Hall 14 to 16? Unless you have these stats on hand, don't worry. But if you do,
Just
and you-
come up with a probability of survival 33%, right?
I haven't done them yet, but I was intending to, so I probably will do them after we're done here.
Cool. Well, Stelsa, you can look out for that. Oh, Godly says 396 days free to play. So maybe that's right.
Godly asked another good question, one that we skipped over that we should talk about too. Exactly how was builder base loot increased? And it was the amount you get per attack was, I believe, doubled, right?
Wow. Well, that's a big increase.
No, because like
Well,
I mean, not that anyone cares, but it's wow.
I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a big increase, but it's to help counteract potentially slowing down your rate of attacks, I guess.
most players are still getting most of their loot from the star bonus every day, and that's not affected. So, but yeah, I think it's doubled. Is like don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure if it's not exactly doubled, it's near there. I want to say.
When can we have the option to 2 times speed, like in Boom Beach Tax? Am I right? Like, is that a consideration, or should it be a consideration?
It's something we talked about last week or week before.
I mean, I guess if Supercell felt like it, that'd be quite a nice way to counteract the forced quitting thing. But then, I guess it's introducing the same problem, kind of, that people can just zoom through attacks. But who knows?
Have you guys tried Moco?
No.
No.
Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, no, I think it's a fun little game. Can you just freely download it and join now, or are they still doing like the invite code nonsense?
This weekend it's still invites, but I guess we'll see what happens next week. I mean, it should be possible to get invites still. I mean, I'll be sharing another. I've saved my invite code for 24 hours for today, so that'll do until tomorrow evening.
If anyone wants, like, if anyone needs a Moco invite code, reach out to me or Ninja or Hawkeye or Cart, like someone, like one of the mods somewhere will get you in touch with one of us, and we can get you a code pretty easy if you want it, if you want in and can't find one. But yeah, it's a fun game. Like, it's cool to see them like pushing games to global release now instead of doing the whole like 3 years of beta just to kill it later. Like, it's good to see Supercell like kind of, relaxing and like, okay, cool, like, hey, let's push it out and and just get people playing it and commit to keeping it alive and improving it.
Yeah, and it's cool to see a different genre of game. Sort of, it reminds me of sort of MMOs that we saw a lot of in the early 2000s, where you have your character that you level up and upgrade the gear and do raid dungeons with. It's a really cool concept to have on your phone, because instead of playing WoW and no lifing it for 40 hours a week, it's a lot easier to dip in and out for a few minutes at a time to do a couple of challenges and then go back to what you're doing. So it's the best of both worlds. You've got the fun of developing your character and your build, but also not it becoming a second job.
All right, so I think that's gonna wrap up the update episode for us. Thank you so much, Ninja, for coming by and being prepared with all the cool stats and numbers that
Thanks for having me.
I knew I wasn't gonna do that. So, then always a pleasure. Check out the Clash.Ninja website and support our man here with Code Ninja. Did you do a bundle?
I did, yes. I went max books because everyone loves books.
So yeah, I will include links to Code Ninja and to Ninja's bundle, and I'll probably have to figure out how to cut that line out of YouTube for later. But yeah, thanks again, man. Looking forward to fighting with you about donation costs when we eventually find those out.
Yeah, thanks guys. Always love coming here and chatting with you guys.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure,
Thanks,
as always.
All right, everyone.
And thank you everyone
Bye,
for
bye.
listening.
Yeah, go hang out, wait
Cheers.
for maintenance, and we will see you in probably 2 weeks.
Enjoy no trading times, unless it's April Fools.
Or unless it's delayed randomly. Who knows? Say bye, Liam. Say bye, Liam.
Bye.